Yeah, okay, so this is how the almost finished, edit of the J Rice music video, There For You, looks. And here, if I zoom out, I'll just show you. Uh, I have it kind of organized as in these are all my performances here on video 1, 2, 3, and 4, and pretty much all the story elements are here on this video track 5, which I just renamed it. You can rename tracks like this in Premiere by right-clicking on them. Just click on rename, and I basically just named it story. So you zoom in, you'll see that I kind of spaced it out. Then it goes here. Let me just turn off the music for now. So you see the story, then it goes here to performances, then again to the story, then performances. So you kind of can see these halls repeating on and on. And I more or less sort of like show the same rhythm. I more or less follow. If you can see, it's like a little bit of a story and then performances, story. Then here is another hall for performances, story, and so on. Later on in the video, the gaps between the story elements get a bit longer because once I establish the story and sort of the relationship between J Rice and this girl, I don't feel like I need to show it again. Um, but then up here you can see a big hole, and that hole actually is from that's basically where here this whole scene with the girl getting hit by the car is. So that's this part. And what else? And then J Rice up here, in the hospital, kind of devastated by the whole incident. And then after that we go to the ending, the kind of reveal of what's actually happened to this girl. And then afterwards here we go to the kind of the reveal at the end. So again you see those story elements up here. And that's sort of where I decide to show the same scenes that you saw before in the video, but then actually revealing now that she's lost her leg. So there's this one scene here, then there's another one. Well, this one is just basically him watching her kind of sleep, which we actually filmed a lot more of this stuff, but we decided not to use throughout the video because um, sort of the thing that I wanted to show in the video. And that's actually what I did with the performances. And those are the kind of things you should keep in mind, I guess, when you're editing. Is you got to think of almost like when you're doing a film. What is it that you want your audience to think, at a particular time, as they're watching this, and what kind of mood do you want to get them into? Whether it's sad or serious, or you want them thinking about something. So that's why here at the end, that's when I reveal all these shots where you see that she's in a wheelchair, etc. Now, as far as the accident goes, so yeah, so she's just walking, and then I basically just had her pretend like she's getting hit. And if you were to look at it further, she's basically just this is what she does. She's walking, and and then that was it. So then what I also did is I got a shot here of somebody driving the car, and it's just basically a separate plate. Here, let me show you how the car by itself just looks. Let me turn off the FX. Okay, so this is just a shot of the car driving, and as you can see, it's very fast, even though actually I think the car was only going like 40 or 50 kilometers an hour. Not fast at all, but in a long tight shot like this on a telephoto lens, it actually looks pretty damn fast. But anyway, so that's the shot, and then while I'm editing it, just so I can see whether it works, I kind of basically overlaid the two shots together. So I took this shot and it went to effects control and turned the blending mode from normal to overlay. So I can kind of see both of the shots, how they line up more or less, just for the timing. And this is how it looks, once I line them up. So it goes, and then boom, she gets hit. So I kind of go, okay, I think it's gonna work, and that's pretty much what I would show the artist, like when we're editing the video. And then also I'll start sort of layering in sound effects. So the first sound effect obviously would be of the crash itself, which is these are just sounds that you can get find them online. There's a lot of websites and stuff like that, or you can just buy CDs with sound libraries. So this is the first sound, just a car accident sound. Then I have like a car tires kind of screeching. So as if, after he hits her, he's hitting the brakes. What else do I have? I also have woman gasping that I added a sound of. Then I have the body falling. So after she gets hit. Oh no, this one's actually a body falls onto car hood. So, and these are again just sounds that I all got from sound libraries. So. And this is another sound of a woman just, or a body just falling on the ground. And if you sort of start layering in those sounds, if for example we put the car tires and then the car crash itself, then this is how it's going to sound. Let me turn off everything else here. So it's already, I can see that it's starting to work. So for example, next thing I'll add is the body itself hitting. And then you hear the body fall on the concrete, and then the gasp. That's the last sound effect. And you can see already, even though the effect is not done, just in editing with the sounds. I mean, sound effects in films and in anything, music videos and things, they add a whole other level to to your production, and it really does take it's a big payoff when you take the time to put in and layer these sound effects together until you basically create the right mood. I also added other sound effect here. It's just basically this like a musical cue, and that's just to set the mood, sort of like after the song ends we just hear this boom, and it just sort of puts you in this kind of right away more serious mood. Another thing we have here is for the later scenes. So here, let me turn off all the stuff. Basically after the accident I just cut to black, and I just sort of fade in, the crossfade, fade in and out of each shot. Again, if you don't know how to do crossfade, it's very simple in Premiere and any editing program for that matter. You go to Video Transitions, Dissolve, and then just go grab Cross Dissolve and just put it here at the front of the shot. So if there was another shot in here, it would dissolve between the two, but because there's nothing there, it's just going to dissolve from nothing to this shot. But I have black underneath, so basically it's essentially going from black to that. And then here you can grab it and adjust how long you want that fade in to be. So I basically just fade in here, and it's basically a shot here that I got of Diana, the actress, with this makeup that we did. So first of all, the reason why we never filmed her actually like landing, on the hood of the car, for example, hitting the ground and stuff, is because I never thought it was necessary. It's not some a very graphic movie or anything like that. It's supposed to be a dramatic love story. So as long as you get the point that this girl got really badly hit, then I think sometimes it's even better to just cut to black, like you see here. I have this whole section where it's just black, and you hear those sounds of her hitting the ground and stuff, and you can imagine it. And I think sometimes the audience can imagine things and make them even more horrific in their heads than really the images that you're seeing. Because again, if you were to see the images, I mean, there's nothing, I guess, too graphic in here. She's walking, she gets hit, then it's just black, and then you just see her lying there with the makeup already on. And then I have another shot here where I again to fade to black and then fade back to her, where it's just a close-up of her face. And that alone, just that that shock of seeing this beautiful girl suddenly covered in blood, that alone, it's I guess it's shocking enough where you don't need to really show more. And then the rest, the audience kind of just fills in their heads. Same thing for this part here. We originally shot a much longer sequence of Jay coming down to his apartment. He takes off his jacket, then he gets the phone call, then he grabs his keys and runs back out. But really, I realized it's just none of that stuff was needed. Literally, all we needed to just show is he's on the phone, and suddenly he just turns. You see the shock on his face, and he runs out. So, just that one quick shot, that's really actually all we needed, even though we shot those extra things. So, but if you're there already, and since I lit the scene, it wasn't that much extra time to film those, different actions. So I just figured, well, let's do it. We'll have it just in case we think we need it in editing. But here it's just one quick shot, and then here, this is a shot we got in a hospital. And again, like you said before, we got a lot more shots there in the hospital, or with him and stuff like that. But we just ended up, using very little. So just this one shot here that I got of him running down the hallway, and then here where he's just kind of drops his head. He's waiting in the hospital hallway, and then just a close-up of him dropping his head, and that's really all there was to it. And then the rest we just go back to the opening shots of the video. So if you think about it, there's not many shots that that are a thing, and then for sure they're not difficult shots to do. I mean, here, yeah, we had to get the makeup girl, but that's pretty much, I think, the only scene really that we had makeup done in this whole music video. But the rest is actually the sounds, because like, again, if you were to watch this without sounds, it just doesn't have the same effect. I mean, it's sort of halfway there, I would say. So now the sounds is kind of what really creates this mood and kind of helps you imagine all the horror there behind the scenes. So first sound that I add is this heartbeat. So, and just hearing that, and then afterwards the heartbeat slower, and it goes slower and slower, kind of thing. I also added the police sirens in the background, so you get the idea. You can sort of imagine again, as you're seeing this girl on the ground, you can imagine the police is coming there. So once I added the police sirens, this is how it sounds. And now the police sirens. And again, those are just simple sound effect of police sirens that I got off the internet somewhere. So it was a police car or ambulance. I'm not even sure what it was, but it was just something that was driving by. And then afterwards, I just kind of keep it all quiet. All we hear is the heartbeat, as we see Jay here, all devastated. And then after that, since I want to kind of make it look like we're going back, I added these other sound effects, which are these kind of reverse stringers, orchestral pieces, which sound like this. So it feels almost like you're sort of going back into something. And then another sound like this. And together, combined with that, it was like a good transition out of all this, this kind of a depressing, sad scene back into the melody. So then, once you put all those sound effects together, this is kind of how it looks. And as you can see, it's kind of creates this mood right away. And now for the effect, since we only really had one effect shot in this video, what I did is I basically, once I have these two shots here, and I like their timing, I know they're gonna work, I basically just select them, go right click, and go replace with After Effects. And what that's gonna do is basically, if you have the whole Adobe Creative Suite, and it's basically going to import it for you into After Effects, so you can right away start working with it. So just click Replace with After Effects Composition, and it's going to load in the After Effects for you. So and then when it loads up After Effects, it's going to ask you first to save the file. So again, keep it all organized, guys. Go to your project, so there, JRIs, and then Effects. I created a subfolder called After Effects, and in there I would just basically save it as one. Okay, and then once you save it, then you can see you have the two shots here, 1 and 2 here, and you already have a nicely arranged timeline here, and your composition that's has all your settings correct. So for example, your resolution, your frame rate, everything, the length of the comp, basically all done for you. So it's just a really quick way of putting your shots into After Effects. And here's the car, and then we can start doing the effects.